It was announced earlier this week that Daniel Ricciardo will join AlphaTauri for the rest of the 2023 season on loan from Red Bull, replacing Nyck De Vries, their rookie driver who joined the team at the start of the year. Daniel has since had a seat fit and factory visit and is feeling at home back at one of the teams where he started his F1 career. But why do they need him, and what's happened to De Vries? It's no secret that AlphaTauri have had a difficult first half of the season. While Yuki Tsunoda managed to achieve points on a few occasions, Nyck De Vries went through the 10 races pointless, and the team are currently sitting P10 and last in the Constructors' Championship. There's no doubt that being a rookie in Formula 1 is tough, particularly as the first half of this season has featured tracks that rookies are unfamiliar with, like Miami or Melbourne. But after the incredible performance Nyck put on in Monza last year in the Williams, when Alex Albon was unwell, he generated a lot of hype in the paddock that he simply didn't live up to in a full-time race seat. Helmut Marko, Red Bull's advisor, cited this performance in Monza as the main reason the team contracted Nyck in the first place, and said that the expectation was that Nyck would at least equal his teammate Yuki Tsunoda. This goal at the time didn't seem so far off, as Nyck was bringing in a wealth of racing experience to the team from his Formula 2 and Formula E championships. But his achievement of the goal wasn't helped by the fact that Yuki is now on his third season in the AlphaTauri and has managed to wrangle the car into a few point-scoring positions this year. The car is widely recognised as tricky to drive and generally slow, so perhaps the odds were against Nyck as an F1 rookie from the start, but as he remained fairly consistent at 3/10 slower than Yuki, Marko felt a change was needed. The pressure on Nyck was also coming from performances put on by his fellow rookies, Oscar Piastri and Logan Sargent, who were increasingly getting to grips with their McLaren and Williams. The weekend of the British Grand Prix likely solidified this, and though they're in very different cars, Oscar and Logan finished the race in P4 and P11, while Nyck ended the day in P17. A mid-season change of driver is uncommon, but it's not unheard of, and Marko felt that there was no need to wait, saying to the media, "What do 2 more races matter if you don't see any improvement?" The approach AlphaTauri and Red Bull as its parent team have taken to bringing a new driver to F1 perhaps reveals something interesting about the way they now use AlphaTauri. AlphaTauri was once Toro Rosso, famously Red Bull's training team for their rookies and young drivers like Carlos Sainz, Daniel Ricciardo and even Max Verstappen. A driver was incentivized to put in good performances in the Toro Rosso, as it held the promise of a promotion to a seat at the main team, Red Bull Racing. This is the pattern that Daniel and Max followed, but as Max has become a cornerstone of that team, and Checo is his right-hand man, the structure at Red Bull Racing may be more static than it previously has been, with bosses perhaps less likely to make changes to their championship-winning lineup. This of course means that there are no seats for AlphaTauri drivers to move into, and coupled with their rebrand and new unique sponsors like Orlen and the hard luck approach they're taking to rookies, we could be led to believe that AlphaTauri is not being viewed as a training team anymore, but as its own point-scoring, money-earning team. If this is the case, De Vries' lack of results affected the team even more, and Marko and team principal Franz Tost clearly felt that enough was enough. They were craving some stability and experience, so in came Daniel Ricciardo. Daniel is a proven race winner, and in his time at Red Bull from 2014 to 18 was known for his ruthless approach to racing and his magnificent late-breaking moves. While he took the decision to move away from the team from 2019 onwards, these last few seasons haven't been the best for Daniel as he struggled with car reliability at Renault and feeling comfortable with the car in McLaren. But this didn't stop him earning McLaren's only win in the last decade in his time there at Monza in 2021, a symbol of Daniel's ability to take an opportunity in both hands and use it to earn a race win. It's this experience and winning record that Franz Tost and Helmut Marko are after, but it's also his speed and energy. Reports widely suggest that Marko was convinced to make the swap after seeing Daniel's times around Silverstone in the Red Bull RB19 at a tyre test last week, which proved that Daniel still has the inherent speed on track when given the right machinery. Marko has said that if Ricciardo hadn't had the speed, we would have considered something else, something Daniel likely knew going into the test. Daniel brings new energy to the team at a time when they need it most, and as we are now in race week for the Hungarian Grand Prix and the return of the Honey Badger, we get closer to seeing what he can do in the AlphaTauri. Though it didn't work out for De Vries this time in Formula 1, his wealth of driving experience will no doubt mean he gets picked up by another team or series in no time. While he's not scared of anything and is back in love with the sport after his break, Daniel is cautious to make conclusions about the performance of the AlphaTauri before he's driven it, as he acknowledges that it's a tricky car to get on with. We're definitely excited to see how he goes this weekend. Are you? Let us know in the comments, like this video if you enjoyed the insight, and make sure to subscribe to Apex for the latest in the F1 world.